we have, let me just move that over there. That's myself. This is it feels like it's my 20th. I think it's about my 7th user group, which is great. We have today Li Zhang, who's come from the Nut Producers of Australia to talk to us about their Tableau journey at the Nut Producers. And we also have Grant Quick from Lead Solution Engineer from Tableau, who's going to talk to us about Tableau Pulse. Any questions, guys, please put it in the chat box to the right-hand side, and we will endeavor to get back to you when we can. This is recorded. It'll go up onto the user group homepage on YouTube. So there's always, and the link will go out later on. So there's always, scope to watch it later on. And any questions you've got, just email me here, and I can forward it on to the guys. And the thing at the end, we've got a merch giveaway at the end. So I will put it in my virtual tombola, and I shall pick out a name, and we've got some merch in the office for you for later on. So without further ado, Lee, let me pass you over to Li Zhang. She can introduce herself and go away with our first presentation. Lee, it is over to you.
Oh, hi everyone. My name is Lee. So firstly, I got my screen there. Hopefully, I want to share the screen. Yeah. Sharing.
Perfect.
Everyone see that?
Yep, Lee, we can see that crazy little astronaut.
Yeah, cool. All right. Yeah. Sorry, still looking for the other one. Okay. Oops. Sorry, this is me. And because Chris gave away the opening speech, so right now everyone just look at this beautiful photo of mine. And I'm Lee. I'm working in the data analytics area for the last 8 years, and mainly I use Tableau and Python as my tools, and to deliver the business analytics to Nut Producers. And outside of my career, I really enjoy reading. So but at home, I normally read a lot of things, including civil engineer and history, art, and investment. I also do a little bit of sports, because you can see from the photo, I wear glasses. So back in town, in my hometown, and my family wouldn't allow me to do something dangerous. But here I enjoy doing Muay Thai and also learn how to swim. So here, showcase my work, because I can't show you the visualization of my work here. That's a lot of data there. I will show the background. So I think I will just give everyone a little bit of visualization of what I did. This is every single one I made from scratch. So get into the topic, and I will cover three the areas. On the opening speech I prepared, I was going to say that I'm sticking to the golden rule of three. So I want to cover three areas.
Lee?
The journey?
Lee, I think your screen might be frozen.
Really?
Yes, we can just see the astronaut.
Oh. Well, let me see.
Ah, there. Yes, it's gone. Yes, we're on the next screen. That works.
How about right now? Does it work now?
We've got the About Presenter screen now. Let's have a look.
Can we see the...
yes, Showcase My Work has just come up. So yeah, the next screen's come up.
So now everyone knows what I meant. So this is what I was showing everyone.
Yeah, all good. Carry on, Lee, doing really
all
well.
Good. Yeah, I actually made all of that from scratch. So I can't show you the visualization here. It's just quite a bit of data, but I will have something to show everyone that's just behind the scene. And can everyone see this? It's okay?
We have Showcase My Work at the moment. There we go. Tableau Journey at NPA.
Yeah, something is strange happening. Sorry.
That's okay.
So yeah, I'm covering these three areas. So the journey and the effective practices I followed, and also fostering the data culture here. So let's see next page. Can everyone see this? It's changed to the journey, the Tableau Journey at MPA.
Yes, we've
So
got.
that is also a 3 steps journey. And at the very beginning, we didn't have any BI tools. We had a lot of spreadsheets, and that is almost 3 or 4 years ago. So I call that the caterpillar period, because that's a completely different stage. And during that time, we collected all the challenges, the business pain point from different business units, and we scoped the work, and we quickly moved into the next stage, cocooning and emerging. So that's a really fun stage for us, for the content creators. So I developed quite a bit of reports here and deployed them, and also provided trainings, and it is very receptive in the business. And then right now we moved into future is here, and hopefully we will have this, we will turn into a butterfly, but who knows? So the next step we will, because last year we bought the data management, this data add-on license, which I found that it has this data catalog. I think it will be really useful for our business. So that's what I was going to do for the next year or two here. So that's a 3 steps, 3 stage here. And this is the project I think is worth mentioning. This is a project 000. And that is, this is a project here we won the heart of our CEO, because if anyone here who's using SAP, you will know that this is a table in SAP, and it's the sales area. So it has the orders, the deliveries, and the invoices. And it's just a simple union. I bring all of those in one view. So it's like created a one-stop shop experience for the sales team here. And so that is, we heard the business, and the business said that it's very, very challenging to get all of those information all together from different areas. Basically, at the time, it's just Excel. And after this, everyone felt that this is just a bring not only it bring everything onto one place, and also it's easy for people to drill down to see, to understand what's going on behind the scene, to understand the root causes of the fluctuation of our trend. So, and here, I don't know if anyone can see here, that's just a little bit knowledge about pistachio. It's in here, in Australia, if you see, this is in a supermarket, you see it's growing in Australia, it's Sirora. If you see, this is California pistachio, it's common. So that's a variety of it, just like the apples, different varieties. And this is the second project I wanted to showcase today. I call it Project 007 because it's just very cool. It won the heart of the factory people here. And the challenge was back then is that for factory people, they wanted something really quick and easy for the whole factory to use at the different levels. So you got a manager, you got a supervisor, you got the factory scheduling, the processing lead. And so what I did at the time is that just it's a pivot in the prep and a weighted average in desktop. Then what this does is that it offered the business, the factory, to access to a stock information from different perspectives. So you can see things from a different level of details. You can also see things, it's like in a multiple dimensions. You can see our stock quality assurance result. You can also see the micro test results, because that's very important to our business. We don't want any product that has the salmonella positive or E. coli positive stock goes to supermarket or anywhere. So we can see in this report those information and at different levels. So that's really receptive from the business. So next, I'm going to get to the effective practice I followed. Can anyone see this? And So so this is during my project development, the most important thing for me is prep. I spend almost 80% of my time preparing the data. So it's here, like, as I said, the structural engineer is very critical. So I do it at a basic level, and also I thinking about the optimizations. And then because my background is in accounting, so I use this word from my accounting time, like 10 years ago, my last life, reconciliations, to make sure all my number is correct. I normally build two reports and two models for one project. So one is at a higher level of details. It's like a summary, and I can see a result. And then another one is a level of details required by the business or this particular model. So I can compare these two to make sure it's correct. So, and then back to this prep area, I wanted to talk about it again, is that at the prep, I later on will make sure the performance is right, and I will see if there's information I didn't need, I will take it out from my prep, and then I will, lastly, after this data add-on management, we automated our prep here, prep flow. That is another win. So the last, I will talk about fostering the data culture in our business. And this is something looking at the background from the very beginning, because we don't work in silo, and we are here as a service provider, and we answer business questions. So it's very important we know what is the business need and what we can do to help them. And so firstly, is ongoing training here that to let users understand how to utilize Tableau for their specific needs. And we have people at different levels of understanding of not just the Tableau tool, but also the numbers, everything. So that is an ongoing practice here. And we go to the factory, we talk to the people at the factory floor, and what is their challenges. So that is a very good exercise, we feel. And another one is that this is a data catalog that we're going to look into this year, and hopefully we will develop. We will push it out to the business unit this year. And
Lee,
yes,
I think you've frozen again. There you go. Yep, it's gone. I wonder if this is my voice. My voice needs to move your.
I'm wondering what's happening.
We're back again.
I will find out later. And the third one is just expanded this to different areas of the business, because we in our business we do have growers. It's like we have things from we receive all of those crops from our growers, and then we have our factory to process them, and we can give the feedback to our growers to see which field generated the most return for our growers. So this is an area we wanted to tap into the following years. So I think that's wrap up the three areas, bigger areas, and then because everything is all about three, so I decided no questions to be asked. So that's it.
Lee, thank you very so much for your presentation. That was great, guys. If you've got any questions, please stick it in the chat, or like I said, as mentioned before, reach out to us afterwards. I'll put this onto the YouTube channel. But Lee, thank you ever so much. There's a few slow screen shares and what have you, but I think we got the gist of it. And yeah, really informative. Really appreciate that, Lee. Thank you ever so much. So moving swiftly on to a Grant Quick, who's our good friend here. Well, I won't introduce you, Grant, because I know you quite well. But Grant, if you'd like to introduce yourself and take away on Tableau Pulse.
Yeah, thanks, Rob. So Grant Quick, I am a lead solution engineer at Tableau. I've been with Tableau for close to 3 years now, and I'm based in Sydney, although I love Adelaide. So if you can find an excuse to get me down there, then I'll be more than happy to join you next time. But as you've probably heard, we have a new product available, and it is called Tableau Pulse. It is part of Tableau Cloud, so anyone who has Tableau Cloud has access to this feature. And unlike a lot of other features which are cloud first, Tableau Pulse is being billed as cloud only. So there are no plans to bring it to Tableau Server, and a lot of that's to do with the way it works with generative AI. So never say never, I guess, but I have seen long-term roadmaps, and there are no plans to bring it to server anytime soon. So we get that question a lot. But for anyone who can use cloud, even if it's in a hybrid capacity, Tableau Pulse is really showing up to be a game changer. So we're going to walk through what it is today. I'll show you how to set it up. And then if there's any questions at the end, I'll be more than happy to take those. So to give you some context, where we see the future coming in with analytics is around data stories. You might have seen that already with some of the acquisitions we made, like Narrative Science a couple of years ago. There's been a lot of augmented AI coming in slowly but surely. But this has really exploded now thanks to generative AI. ChatGPT really showed us a new way of doing things, and we were really quick to jump on that, like a lot of other companies have been too. And we know that there's a lot of excitement around what ChatGPT and other generative AI technologies can offer. So Gartner says that data stories will, in fact, be the most common way that people consume analytics by 2025. They made this prediction probably a year ago, so I'm not sure it's quite going to get there, but certainly things are moving in that direction. And they also believe that 75% of these stories will be using augmented AI. And there's a very good reason for this. If you have a look at the way analytics are consumed today, it does tend to be in pockets around the business. It's very rare to find a business where everyone across the organization is data-driven. And one of the main reasons is that most people, or maybe not most, but a lot of people certainly just don't have the level of data literacy to be able to really leverage it to its full extent. In fact, about a third of the population cannot interpret basic bar charts and line charts. So as you can imagine, presenting them with a dashboard can be quite overwhelming and not really help them with the job that they have at hand. So that's where Tableau Pulse is coming in to help. So Tableau Pulse delivers insights that are personalized, contextual, and smart. So basically, everyone can have a view of the metrics that matter to them most. If you're in sales, you might see revenue numbers. If you're in a service call center, you might see numbers around average handle time and customer satisfaction. So there's lots of different metrics, obviously, that matter to different people, and they can all subscribe just to those metrics that matter to them. They can be customized so that they can see relative to certain clients or certain regions what those numbers are. And they can also drill down on those to another level to see what might be driving changes in those metrics. Now, one of the most exciting things about Pulse is it is available now. So it went live around late February, so about a month ago now. So if you have Tableau Cloud, you can turn it on today and start using it. As I said, it is cloud only. So if you don't have cloud, it might be worth having a trial if that's something that you'd like to start playing with. And you can get access to a 14-day trial of Tableau Cloud through our website with no questions asked. So always something that you can look into. Now, the way that Pulse works is it's based around cards. So these cards show you pertinent information, such as the name of the metric, the scope, which is basically the filters that you're applying, and then the actual value. So what is the latest value that you have? In addition to that, you see the trend. So is it trending up? Is it trending down? And you can see a comparison to a prior period. So typically that's the prior year or the prior month. So you can see how things are tracking. Finally, you've got the insights there in plain text. So those can be interpreted by anyone, regardless of their level of chart reading capabilities. And then anyone can follow these metrics that has access to Tableau. And while you might consume it through your browser, you can also consume it through your phone. So it's a really popular option with Pulse for people just to have it on their phone. And I'll show you what that looks like just very quickly here. We can have a better look at it later. But you can see here on my phone, I've got the metrics there. So you can scroll through and find the ones that are most important to you. All right, I'm going to jump over and jump into Pulse now. So I'll bring up one that I prepared earlier. This one is around service analytics. So this is looking at a call center. where we've got things like total abandoned calls, customer satisfaction, average handle time, all the things you'd typically see in a call center. Now for this one, we can see that total abandoned calls has gone up, and it's gone up quite steeply recently, so that's concerning. And we can also see that average wait time has gone up, and sure enough, the time period coincides. So it's easy to pick up these things and see what might be causing these issues. But let's drill in and have a better look at total abandoned calls. So we can see the overview there where things are getting way above the expected boundaries. But let's break that down and have a better look. So we can see here different dimensions to drill down by. So call reason, we can see that internet outage is the biggest one. If we click on agent, we can see which agents are contributing the most to this metric. And also which customers. So these customers in particular might be ones that concern us. We might need to worry about reaching out to them and making sure that their experience is going okay. Now, if I want to go further on this, I can ask questions. So we do provide questions at the bottom here. So the most relevant insight appears automatically. So this has been determined that the call reason has contributed most to the total abandoned calls. And internet usage, not only is it the biggest, it's also increased the most. So that's quite concerning. We might want to ask about customers. So we could look at which customer had the highest total abandoned calls, and that'll come in. Now, I have a pre-release version. With Tableau Pulse, we are doing releases every 2 weeks. And in the next release, there will be the ability to bring your own question as well. So you can ask any question. If we have a look here, we can see, well, which agent maybe increased the most. So I can type that in. And sure enough, that's a question I can ask, and we can see the answer there. So that's really good, especially if you've got a lot of different dimensions associated with this metric. It means that you don't have to rely on those pre-canned questions being available. Like I said, you can easily follow. Of course, I'm following this one because it's already on my dashboard, but I can also subscribe other people. So I can put anyone against this metric or any group that I like. All right, I'm going to take a step back, and we're going to have a look at another site where I can walk through the process of enabling Pulse and setting up your own metrics. All right, so this is my personal Tableau cloud site. And I'm going to go into the settings here, and you'll see that I've already got Pulse enabled. So just on the general tab, you've got the ability to turn on Pulse. You can do it for all users, or you can actually set it to be a specific group of users. So that way you might just have your power users having access initially, and when you're happy with it, then you can roll it out to everyone. You can also see there's an option for turning on the special AI features. So this is the text summary that appears at the very top. We'll also have other features coming soon that leverage OpenAI's generative AI. But enabling that feature will turn, or that option will turn those features on. Once you've turned on Tableau Pulse, it will appear over in the menu to the left. If it doesn't appear straight away, just refresh the page, and that will take you into the interface. So the text summary I mentioned, that's this one up here that's giving us this overall summary. Really useful if you've got more than about 5 or 6 metrics, because then you can see, well, which ones are the most significant without having to search through and digest all of them. I'll talk a little bit more about the security model just before we finish. So there are some people that have concerns around, well, if we're sending data to OpenAI, what does that look like, and can we trust it? We have built in a layer of trust, so we'll talk through that, and most people are comfortable with it, but obviously it's your decision. Now, here I've got different metrics that I can see, but of course I can create my own metric from scratch if I wish as well. So all I need to do is search for a data source and connect to that. This could be any published data source that you have. Obviously, you will need to have permissions to access the data source, but other than that, you can set it up. We'll give this data source, well, firstly, we'll select a measure. It does need to be unique because I obviously do a lot of demos, so I have to keep in mind which ones I've already created, because otherwise it prevents me from creating duplicates, just so I don't create too much noise. So I'm going to just do it by the number of products. I'll do a distinct, actually I'll just do a count, how many products there are. And this data is actually at transaction level, so I'm just going to call it count of transactions. This is the Superstore data set that comes with Tableau. Next, the main thing is you do need to have a time dimension. All of the Pulse metrics track data over time, so that needs to be a dimension that you have. I'll do order date. And that's enough to give you a preview. Then it's just a matter of selecting which dimensions you'd like to be able to drill down by. So I'm going to do a few here. I'll do the category, the country, do product name, segment, and let's do subcategory. If you want to change the format to be currency or percentage, or put in some custom units, you can do that too. And then you can go ahead and save what's called a metric definition. So a metric definition has a default metric, which is basically no filters applied and using month to date. I'm going to follow that. So I just need to click over there to do that. One thing I might want to do is change the way I'm looking at this data. Right now, I'm looking at month to date. You can see that I have missing data for certain dates. That's probably because maybe we don't sell on weekends or something like that. So maybe it's more appropriate to show quarter to date. So I'm showing things at a weekly level of granularity. So I'll change that up here. And you'll notice when I do that, that the follow button has been unchecked. That's because it's actually created a new metric. Same metric definition, but multiple metrics. So I can follow this, and now both of those views are going to show up on my home page for Pulse. Now you can see here, I can see the overview like I did before. I can do a breakdown, and if I do that, I see all the dimensions that I included from previously, so I can break down using any of those. And once again, I can ask my own questions. You'll see this one's not a preview site. This is production, so I don't have that free-form questionability, but I will have that very soon. Now if I go back to the main interface, I'll be able to see counter transactions, both of those metrics from the one metric definition. If I browse metrics over here, you'll be able to see count of transactions there has two related metrics. So I can click on that and I can see them there. As you can see, I'm following both of them. I might decide I only need to follow one. Or I can go in, change the filters and create a new metric. So it's really easy to work with. We've designed it so people that aren't familiar with dashboarding or with BI can easily get in and get started and start following things. And of course, even if they don't want to be building metrics, it's easy for you to subscribe them. So all they need to do is whip out their phone and be able to use it. It's worth probably showing you a little bit of what that looks like in the phone experience. So a little cheat I can do for that is just preview this using an iPhone. So you can see it there. So it's a very seamless experience. We designed it from the ground up to work with the Tableau mobile app. And so if you download that, you'll be able to make the most of it. The other thing too is you don't have to be coming in and checking these things. You can get a digest of this information. So if I come up to my preferences at the top, I can enable it for either Slack or email. We will be supporting Microsoft Teams as well. I believe that's coming out around June, July timeframe. So watch this space if you're a Teams user. But then it's as simple as selecting your frequency, and then you'll start receiving digests. So I'll show you quickly what a digest looks like. I'll just pull one up in my email. In fact, I just got mine for today. It just arrived about an hour ago. So I'll drag that over, and you can see I've got the summary at the top. I've got all the different metrics, and I can see what they're doing. And if I want to know more information, I can then click on them, and that will open up Pulse in another tab, and I'll be able to see that and drill in play with that data just as before. So the real value of Pulse comes down to just how easy it is to set things up and how easy it is for people to be able to come in and play with it. So building these kind of metrics using more of a dashboarding approach, that's probably going to take you at least the best part of a day. Being able to set these things up in Pulse really just takes a few minutes. So it can really increase your productivity. And because it has that mobile first mentality, it's really engaging and easy for a lot of executives and people to use that might not be in dashboards on a typical basis. So that's pretty much everything I wanted to share with you today. But did anyone have any questions that they'd like to ask about Pulse or anything that's coming up?
Grant, we have a question in the chat from Chris. Can you do a year to date and specify Australian financial year?
Great question. Unfortunately, not yet. So that is something that we are going to be supporting in the next few weeks. So that's one of the most requested features is custom financial years. So in the US, of course, you can have any fiscal year you like. So a lot of our American customers are asking for that one.
Any other questions, guys, in the chat? Oh, there we go. Alex.
Would it be a good supplement for Tableau mobile dashboards, which are a bit fiddly sometimes? Definitely. So I think the thing is that this is really designed much better for the mobile experience. If you're working with Tableau dashboards, the designer themselves or the creator user really has to make sure that they are designing them well for mobiles in mind. That usually involves creating a mobile specific layout, making sure that its size is right for the different screen sizes that people might have. So that just takes time. With Pulse, it's automatically there, so you don't have to even think about that. Can you customize the visuals with other things like scatter plots? Not at this stage. It is just line charts at this point in time. But watch this space because I'm sure that will be requested quite a bit as well. And another question, can the time that the digest is sent be set? It always seems to be early afternoon. Yes, unfortunately, it does depend on which region you're in. So if you're in Australia currently, it's being sent out at 3 p.m. That is another feature that is requested quite a bit though. So watch that space. I think that will be changing soon too. Now, if you're using Pulse or you want to use it, let us know. So anyone that you might know at Tableau can put you in touch with a solution engineer. We're happy to help. And if you have feature requests, we can capture those, make sure they get passed on to the product team. If you've got a lot, we can even organize a session where we bring one of the product managers in who'll be able to look at your problems that you might be having and talk about what solutions we have in the pipeline or how else we might be able to address that.
Perfect, Grant. Thank you very much. Guys, if there's any other questions you've got, put them in the chat. If not, as mentioned before, yeah, always email myself or afterwards and we can pass this on to Grant. Grant and myself have a, oh, here we go. Can the cards be named, says Jusilus?
They can, yeah. So it's just this part of the card where it says count of transactions, quantity over time. That part is configurable. So if I go back into edit the definition, that's just this field at the top. Boom, there it is.
Perfect.
I'll have a little plug too. So we do have Tableau conference coming up soon. That will be the end of April. Sorry if I'm stealing your thunder, Rob. Not sure.
No, Grant,
good. So yeah, obviously, if you can make it to San Diego, fantastic. I'm really lucky. I got selected as a speaker this year, so I will be there. But if not, we do also have a lot of sessions that will be streamed through the Salesforce Plus streaming platform. One of the feedback that we got from last year was that not many sessions were streamed. So there has been talk about streaming a lot more this year. Last year, it was only 8 sessions, I think. So there will be at least 20 that get streamed this year. So should be some good content and well worth watching. I'm sure there'll be at least one session on Pulse that gets streamed.
Cool. And Grant, we've just had Alex has just popped up with a quick question. Does that make a separate card? Separate one? I'm assuming it's the named cards.
It is the name of the metric definition. So if I go back now to the main interface, I only had one subscribed. If I go back and I subscribe to both, so you'll see it's count of something. And if I'm following both and go back to the start, oh wait, I unsubscribed, clumsy. Count of something, follow both, and then go back. Then you'll see they both say count of something. So if you do have the one metric definition and multiple metrics, you can only have the one name for all of them. It's just at the top, it will tell you, is this month of date? Is this quarter to date? And if you put filters in, it will tell you those as well. But yeah, just the one name per metric definition.
Perfect. Well, guys, if there's any more questions, please pop them in. But Grant, thank you very much for that Tableau Pulse presentation and demo. I think it's one of the better demos I've seen you do. There was no issues, which is always a positive, eh?
I mean, there's always an issue, but it's always, well, usually it's me, so.
There's the user. Okay, look, Grant, thank you ever so much for that. If you want to stop sharing your screen, Grant, I shall put the screen up on here. Thank you very much. There we go. So, guys, thank you for that. That is our Tableau user group. Again, thank you to Lee for her Producers Australia overview. Thank you to Grant for his Tableau Pulse conversation. I'm just going to put that. The merch giveaway, unbelievably, I did the tombola today. The first winner was me, which I think is a bit unfair. The second winner was Jasudis, which is my boss. So I've gone. So the third winner is Chris Sheedy. So Chris, I will be in touch with some just to get some details off you for what you do. Sorry, Jasudis. I know you would like to win it, but I think that's a bit unfair.
That's okay. Chris can have my stuff.
So look, guys, thank you ever so much for joining. Just a last slide from me. This is how we're trying to grow the community. There's enough here today, which was great. We're always still trying to share and grow this Tableau community over in Adelaide. So if you enjoyed this, please pass it on, tell people about it. If you want to present next time, that would be great. We're always looking for presenters here. And on a final note, I think I'd like to thank you all. This will go up onto the YouTube channel in the next couple of days, well, probably after Easter now. And yeah, any questions you've got, guys, following this, please email myself here, robert@dartspark.com.au, or just drop us a LinkedIn like or what have you. And I think from us here, guys, appreciate it. And also, Grant, Lee, really appreciate your time today. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thanks everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, guys.
Now.